Welcome. This is Wendy B. Getting unstuck. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes until it's 12 and start. I've been running a cold for the last few days, so I'm got a lozenge and Kleenex and a hot drink. Unfortunately, this doesn't tell me exactly when it's 12 noon. So I'll wait another minute or two and then I'll start. And if anybody's watching, I would really appreciate you putting your name there. Last week I only noticed one because I was so in my head, but this week I'm going to try and watch the video as I speak, looking into the camera so I can see who's on, so I can acknowledge. Last week there was a few people on and I only acknowledged one. Next time I do this video, I'm going to have some type of timer so I know. I was told not to start it right at 12 noon, to start a couple of minutes before to give people an opportunity to get on, but I'm going to assume it's 12 noon and I'm just going to start, okay? So I said I would, the topic is practicing Teflon skin, and have you ever been stuck with a saying in your head, or stuck with something someone said and it keeps repeating over and over and over again in your head? Well, picture this, this happened over 30 years ago, but I had a store and I was serving a customer in my antique store, and my little 7-year-old daughter burst in, really dramatic, in tears. "Nobody loves me, Mommy." And I hugged her and said, "Just a minute, honey," and took care of the customer. And then I got on my knees, I looked her in the eye, and imagine this, it was like listening to my 7-year-old pour out her heart. And I said to her, why do you think nobody loves you? And she said, well, the kids were calling her names and laughing at her. I forgot what she had done, but anyways, and I said, well, kids laughing at you and calling you names, what has that got to do with nobody loving you? And she's hiccuping, and I said, does Mommy love you? And she said yes. And I said, does Daddy love you? And she said yes. And I went through a list of about 30 names, and she said yes, they all loved her. And all of a sudden this light bulb came on for this 7-year-old. She says, Mommy, that girl lied. The people that matter love me. And I started laughing. I said, yeah, regardless of our circumstances, regardless of what you do, we love you. And at that moment, she started learning Teflon skin. And, I'll just ask you, do you get those conversations in your head? Someone says something and you repeat them over and over again, and you have a whole bunch of conversations. And I think what happens is, we have thoughts, and then our thoughts we think are true. And my invitation is to look at, we have thoughts. We're always going to have thoughts. They're like thought clowns. And they're not necessarily true. Oh, someone sent a heart, so I'm not sure who that was. I missed the name. But welcome. And so one of the things I saw out of that is that, I have lots of thoughts. I have, I'm not lovable, and I'm not smart enough. In fact, just before I went on this Facebook Live, I should have figured out right away. It's going on in my head. It's like, you're not smart enough. You should have figured out. You should have known the right time. You're going to look stupid. All that stuff. And I can either listen to that conversation or let it go. And the question that I invite you to ask yourself is, who is saying that? And, hopefully, thank you, whoever it is. I still can't see who it is. Oh, Mina. Thank you. And thank you. Welcome. So if you can ask yourself that question, Mina, who is saying that? You will discover that it's you. And maybe even someone said something to you, and it could have been a long time ago. It's still you saying it in your head. And when you can get that it's you that's saying it, then you can let that one go and create something that would empower you. So, why I brought that up is that we have to, it takes practice to have Teflon skin. It didn't happen overnight for me. And, but I brought that little story up about my daughter because it was like something happened and she made up that she wasn't lovable. And I say that we do that all the time as human beings. We do that all the time. And so my invitation is to get a piece of paper and start writing down what are those conversations. And even if someone said that, it isn't right now they said that. It could have been minutes ago. It could have been years ago. But we still keep that playing in our head. And that's why we have to practice interrupting them and having Teflon skin. So my name is Wendy Bergen. Wendy B. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a podcast, Thriving at 60, and I'm in over 30 different countries. I have over 23,000 followers. I just wrote a book, Getting Unstuck, 30 Ways to Bring Clarity, Freedom, and Power. It's not published yet. It will be shortly. And I started this Facebook page, Getting Unstuck, with Wendy B. And I don't have a website yet. I'll get that. It's all learning. I could have stopped because I don't have everything in place, or commit to myself to put it in place and keep going for it. And it will happen because I say so. And so my invitation for you is I just thank you for listening. I'm going to keep this brief because I'm not feeling the greatest, but I gave my word that I'd be on live Facebook at 12 noon. And there's an opportunity I would love it if you would like my posts on Getting Unstuck or Thriving at 60, preferably Getting Unstuck. Like, comment, or share. And there is you can, when you go on my Facebook page, Getting Unstuck with Wendy B, you are invited to have a 15-minute free consultation, coaching session. Pick an area that you're struggling with. And in 15 minutes, we'll have a laser coaching session that should move you forward if you follow what I suggest. Thank you again for listening to Wendy B at Getting Unstuck, or Getting Unstuck with Wendy B. I better say that correctly. And thank you. And I'll be on at noon next Sunday. Thank you very much. Bye now.